Welcome to Banana Bread Trades. Here we talk about trading futures. Shit post on Discord, post dank memes, and most importantly, eat banana bread and make money.
Welcome everyone to Banana Bread Trades. My name is Goose, and welcome to take 2 of our recap for today and tomorrow's trade plan. I'm slightly frustrated as I just recorded like a 20-minute video and the audio didn't record correctly, so we're gonna give this a take 2. Sorry that you're not gonna get like the original fully enthusiastic version of this recap of. I'm just really bummed, but oh well. We're gonna do it again because we're disciplined and that's just how we roll. So yesterday, what did we talk about? Well, we talked about this range at 5,200 and 5,220. What was our trade plan? Same thing as the day before. Longs at 5,200, longs at 5,180, and then we're going to take some profit at 5,220 and then target 5,254. Or if we didn't, we would wait for 5,220 to break and then buy the retest. So what happened? Let's switch over to the 15-minute chart. Sorry, all my lines are already different and deleted the old ones and I drew the new ones. I'm sorry. Like I said, this is take 2, so all of our lines from yesterday are gone. But we had it all drawn up. You can go look at yesterday's trade plan. We said yesterday we're not going to set a limit overnight. The day before, we set the limit overnight, and it wicks us, literally stops us to the bottom tick. It's like, great, that's awesome. And then we ended up catching the relong, and then market just didn't go anywhere. But, you know, we were long basically for the entirety of the whole move. The market just didn't go anywhere, so our day was kind of small. We paid for our stop, and we got a little bit on top of that, and that was it. Today, again, we didn't set a limit literally because of what happened the day before. It wicks 5,200 exactly how we wanted it to do yesterday. And this happens at 4 a.m. So obviously I don't catch it because I didn't set a limit. And I waited till regular trading hours. Market opens and we're inside of this super brutal range. And if you were in the Discord, you saw us discussing, hey, do we like the short? I brought it up initially. It's like, hey, do I like the short here? I didn't say I was taking a short. I just said, do I like the short right here? There was massive absorption taking place. There was huge sell orders hitting the bid. Buyers weren't making progress. We weren't breaking significant highs. Is it possible that buyers are exhausted and we're going to sell out of this zone down to 5,185 or 5,150? At that point, you know, then I would either take profit or look for longs. But that's what we were thinking about in the moment. I had zero desire to long, you know, during RTH open. And what I ultimately decided was, yes, this looks bearish right now. There's a lot of things going on right now. But overall, if you look at the big picture, our plan was long 5,200 or 5,185, and that we're bullish as long as we're above 5,150. So with that in mind, I took the idea of the short off the table, and especially being as we're at the swing POC here at 52.07, 52.10. So this is just the worst area really to enter a trade at. So I was like, okay, we're just going to sit and wait and let something happen. If something happens without us, that's just what it'll do. Because overnight, we did get the wick in reclamation of 5,200. That was, I mean, everything we wanted to do for the long. And then just because we gone up a little bit, there's a little bit of turbulation, doesn't discredit this original trade plan. We're just along the way. So we just waited. And that's the one kind of bitch I have about with trading strictly off of time and sales, you know, the DOM and bookmap is without context, that stuff can be really misleading. Because if you're just using that, And I'm sure it probably got a lot of people today. I mean, that was a very, very clear short setup. Everything was there to hit the short. And overall, like I said, in the macro view of things, it just wasn't it didn't fit in with the plan, or that wasn't the plan. So we stuck with the plan. And so what happened was we waited. We never made our way back down to 5,200. We actually broke above 5,220. And as we talked about yesterday, if we break 5,220, we're not going to chase the break of 5,220. We want to see price come back, retest, and show that it holds. We either want to wick 5,220, from the top side down and have that, buyers immediately reclaim it, or, come down, test 5,220 and have that level hold. And through our patience and everything, that happened. We got the retest. So we got long. And what was also awesome is 5,220 also lined up with initial balance high. And if any of you guys know me, I am a big fan of initial balance high. That is my stuff. That is what made me who I am today. My favorite video that I made that's on the top of, my YouTube channel. That is, that type of long right there that was presented today is my absolute bread and butter favorite setup. And I got that today. So what did we do? We got long. I did get long a little bit early because we had what looked like the test of 5,220 where buyers, we wicked down and buyers stepped in pretty hard. So I got long, and then we sold off a few more points. I wasn't that, that long, that far above initial balance, just a few points. So we sold off a little bit, and then we got like the real retest of where we kind of wicked 5,220. Buyers stepped in, supported, and then we got long again, really where we should have been long. But I mean, like I said, I really liked that long setup, and I was okay taking a little bit of drawdown on that initial entry, especially when our second entry was the one that we really hit with leverage. So we got that long, and then we trimmed on the way up. There was a few points in time where, volume got really, really low. And let me pull up that trade here. Maybe. Here we go. So here is our trade for day. Just go into the daily review section of our Discord. And so here we had what looked like a test, it front ran initial balance just a little bit. I got long when buyers stepped in, and we sold off a little bit more. And then we had the real retest of 5,220 or initial balance high. And then I longed again. And then, like I said, we trimmed out along the way. There were some moments where volume really, really came in low, and there just wasn't anything happening. I mean, I held this trade. I entered my trade at like the worst time of day, 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. So this is 2.5 hours after market's been open. So not a great time of day to enter a trade. And then I held that trade all the way. So I took profit on my first runner, almost power hour, 30 minutes before power hour started. Took off another one almost at the high of power hour. And then I finally got my last contract off. I held that contract all the way to 5 minutes after close. And then as you can see, as soon as I closed the contract, we got a little spike, which was a little frustrating. It's like, oh, come on, where was that 10 minutes ago? But oh well. Overall, great trade. I'm very happy with it. I was just a little bummed that we didn't quite get to target. I really wanted 5,250 today. Didn't quite get there, but sometimes ES be like that, and I'm just happy to really have a good trade. I went back and I did a bunch of reflecting over, the last 2 weeks because, I've been posting, my plans, everything about, what we're doing on ES. And, the last 2 weeks have just been really incredible trading for me on ES. I mean, hands down, the best performance I've ever had personally on ES. You guys know, like 3 weeks ago, I sat down and I had a massive review session of figuring out what I was doing wrong with ES and how I can improve with ES, because through about midway through 2023, I switched back to NQ, and I switched between NQ and ES all the time. I had a lot of success with ES, at the beginning of 2023, and my performance started slipping a little bit on ES, and I just switched back to NQ. I like NQ a lot. And then I've tried to go back to ES a few times, and I just always found myself not quite getting the results or performance that I was with NQ. And I just didn't know why, because there's a lot of opportunity in ES, and you can really enter trades and get great risk reward on ES compared to NQ. I mean, NQ, you are exposed to a lot of points and volatility of drawdown. Whereas ES, you can get an entry, with clear 3 or 5 points, of potential drawdown where like you're way wrong on a trade. But I just wasn't able to nail my levels. And I went back and I did a lot of reflecting, and I went through all of my trades of 2023. I went back through a lot of price action of 2023. And also the great thing about our Discord is there's a lot of other verified traders in there. And I was able to look back at specifically Rocky's trades, and he posts his plans every morning, and then, he would have his trades as well. And I went back and I looked at what he was doing. I was like, okay, what are Rocky's plans? What worked with Rocky's plans? What didn't work with Rocky's plans? How did he trade those plans? And what worked best for him? And I went back through all of that, and, some things that he said and some other things, I, did a bunch of research outside of our Discord as well. And the main thing that I found, for me at least, and from, everyone else's trades, is the reclamation of a level. And I know this kind of sounds simple, but with NQ, NQ does not give a rat's ass about a level. It's going to be very aggressive. It's going to wick, front run, do all that nasty stuff, and then, pump or dump 100 to 200 points, right? You just got to be in for the ride. And with NQ, I know its daily averages and statistics really well. So I can play those moves with really light leverage, copy trade a bunch of accounts, and I'll catch, a lot of, 50, 100, 200 point moves on NQ. I'm really good at catching those rotation, playing the harmonics. That's my thing on NQ. Whereas with ES, it's just so much more grindy. And that grindiness was really exposing me to a lot of drawdown, because I would get long in a zone. Let's just use a long example. I would get long in a zone, and ES would just grind right through it and leave me exposed to a lot of drawdown. I'd kill the trade, and then, eventually later on in the day, it would go towards my target. And I was just like, what is going on here? Why can I not seem to nail these levels? And the main thing that I found for myself was, like I said, the reclamation of levels. Whereas, let's say, let's use a long example. My biggest problem was, let's say we'll use 5185 as this example right here. We come down to 5185. I would get long as soon as we got to our 5185 zone. Well, then price would just keep on selling a little bit, just keep on selling. And, I would all of a sudden be in a little bit too much drawdown, get stopped out. And then price would turn around, come right above 85, kind of chop around 85 for a bit, and then go straight to my target. And the theory behind that is ES is going to try to find more sellers lower, or they're going to try to find more buyers higher. If they fail to find more buyers higher or lower than that zone, we quickly reject back to the other side of the zone, or in this case, we come down, can't find any more sellers, reclaim right back above the zone. Well, then that shows that, hey, this level of supply, there's plenty of supply here. Let's go to the next level of demand. So that was the big thing on ES, was I was buying the front side of the V and not the back side of the V. So now, with a lot of the success I've had these last few weeks, it's been from catching the confirmation and reclamation of these zones, letting these zones be tested, and then buying the strength after this zone has been completely tested. And that was like a big part of, catching these shorts. I mean, we caught this whole big short after 5150 was tested, and it was clear that, buyers did not want to go higher. We caught all that sell, and then we caught the long. We caught all these longs up here after, levels below were tested, or after these levels were reclaimed. We were able to target to the next zone. So that was, a big help and a big, attribute to my performance, the last few weeks. Because we've really had a great streak of 2 weeks, and I'm just really thankful, to just have that kind of opportunity to trade well. I know the market could take it away at any moment, so we appreciate, these, streaks that we have that kind of really define our trading year. So with all of that out of the way, let's go ahead and talk about what our plan is now, because like I said, we've had a great 2 weeks. We had a whole plan for all of these moves, and now it seems as though this plan is all but played out. We're almost to 52.50. I imagine we probably tag it overnight here. I'm not in a trade at this moment. But I'd say our plan is all but played out. We were looking at 52.50 all the way down here at 50.40. We had our plans for trading levels. We didn't know we were going to 52.50 right here, but we just knew the steps that we needed to take to get there and how to be positioned along the way. I think that's a big mistake a lot of traders make, is they get a bias and they just try to trade a direction. But really what we did was we just defined where the risk was. And if the market did XYZ, we were able to execute a trade knowing where the risk was and, what was, the context as to what was happening, and trading what was actually going on versus what we wanted to go on. So that was, a really big benefit to this move. But now this move is all but played out. We're at our target of 52.50. This was the previous POC of this zone. Let's move back out to the 2-hour chart. And, as we've been saying, once we get to 52.50, if we break above 52.50, well, now we're into all-time high marching territory above 52.50. And, what I was kind of talking about earlier is I don't have a real clear, well-defined plan of what my next trade is, of what our next setup is. This is kind of the market needs to form a little bit of structure here to give us an idea. And I'm not going to make a plan just for the sake of making a plan, because that does not do you guys justice, and that doesn't do me justice. That's a big thing, I think a lot of traders, including myself, are guilty of, is we make a plan just for the sake of making a plan. And if something's not clear, let it work around a bit until something is clear. So for now, our bias still stands. We're above 51.50. We're bullish, and we're making this charge back towards all-time highs. The only problem is above 52.54. This is going to be a big zone to have to break anyway, but above 52.54, there's no levels or zones left. I know we have some wicks here, but there's just not much here. These are the only 3 wicks, ever at those levels. So above 52.50, the next target is literally just all-time highs, and I have that marked here by this white zone, 53.20 to 53.40. It's going to be a real big thing that, we break these all-time highs. If we come up into this range here between 52.54 and 53.24, this area is going to be tough. This is going to be a very, very tough area to trade. Overall, like I said, I'm long biased, but as you've probably noticed the last 2 or 3 days, volume dropped off immensely. Options volume got really weird. Rocket scooter maps, horrible. Everything as far as forming a bias has gotten really, really weird and indecisive in these last few days. Especially, we've made these pushes up, but it's not been with a lot of strength. It was a dramatic change in market sentiment. And like I said, as we get up above 52.50 to 52.35, I think this really becomes some pretty difficult trading situations, and like I said, since there's not real clear zones, um, I I think we begin to rely more on our statistics, um, and real, like methodical trading approach as far as, playing our opening range breakouts, playing initial balance, watching our harmonics, watching overnight high, overnight low statistics, watching TPO, watching A period and B period. Do we form a trend? Do we close B period within A period? All of these things are going to become a lot more relevant as we get to 52, above 5250, 5254 area. And like I said, that's just because, we don't have levels and solid trade plans to play with. We're in uncharted territory, and it really becomes, trading your statistics versus zones. Like I said, we're out of zones. We're almost out of the swing profile, and there's just not a lot of planning that we can do because, like I said, we're in uncharted territory. So it's a lot about finding a bias, finding a statistic, and playing to that statistic and using, all your tools to be able to make those good decisions. So yeah, up here, it's just a real game of, being safe, being patient, and waiting for something clear to happen. And who knows, maybe Friday will set up and we'll have something really clear. Like I said, I'm still bull bias, above 5220. We broke out, retested, held. We could come back down and retest again. But above this zone, 5150 was our zone before. That was our line in the sand. Now that we moved POC up here to 5207, we broke out above this zone. This has now become our line in the sand at 5220 to 5200, that zone right there. I'll be looking for, that to test. If that tests and holds, we test 5220 and hold, I'm okay with, attempting some longs. But if we break below, 5220, we get into this range. In this range, I'm flat. I'm very flat. Under this range at all, I'm also very flat, because under this range, then it's a matter of, okay, are we going to find supply somewhere, or are we back in bear market? That's one of those situations where, we're up here starting to grind all-time highs again. You have to wait to short. Like I said, we're at all-time highs for a reason. Whether you like that reason or not, or you have a reason to short or not, we're up here. So for me personally, if we're going to flip to bear market, I'm going to be a day late. I'm always going to be late to a bear market than I would rather be early to a bear market. Because early to a bear market, that's a lot of stops. Market is designed to go up. Grinding all-time highs is what ES is designed to do. If it didn't do that, they would change it, which they have. So that's another key thing to kind of keep in mind, is as we're grinding all-time highs and it just keeps pushing higher and higher, that's it doing what it's designed to do. Don't fight it. So yeah, that's really all I got. In brief summary, above 5250, we're looking for technical reasons to long up to all-time highs. And our target is just all-time high. We're just targeting all-time high. We're leaving runners on any longs that we have to all-time highs. And if a short setup presents itself, we're taking it lightly, or it needs to be extremely, extremely obvious, because buyers can come in wherever. But like I said, above 5220, I would rather wait for a good long than, try to, chase shorts. So that's really the plan here. 5220 is our line in the sand. Really just the POC here. POC of 5208 is the line in the sand. I'm going to throw on my volume profiles here. Another important thing to note is we have an untested POC at 52.30. So a pullback to there, maybe, we wick that, maybe get her in the 52.20 area. I'd be okay with a long there. Let me see if maybe I can draw something here. Path. So if we, come up here, maybe come down, wick this zone, I would be okay with stabbing along. And we got this untested POC up there at 52.300-ish. All the way up to all-time highs. Like, this is kind of the path I would consider trading. Above 52.50, like I said, we talk about that reclamation thing. Above 52.50, if we break above, come down, test it and hold. I mean, this is a pretty high volume area, so it's important to be careful here. I'm okay with getting longs, in a reclamation of that level. I'm not longing right below 52.50. Or if we come down, reclaim this POC here at 52.30, and then maybe, make another attempt on the longer time frame to test, 52.20-ish area. Those are really the only two longs that I would consider for Friday. I'm not really considering a short unless, like I said, something really, really obvious pops up. I know options have been weird, but like I said, we broke past the point to where we're in a bear trend. We're in a clear uptrend now. And this is, like I said, this is the market taking its shot at all-time highs. Whether or not we get it, I mean, I can't make that prediction. I just know how I want to be positioned in this situation. So, yeah, we have our defined risk. Our defined risk is around 52.20, 52.30 to 52.20, or above 52.50. Those are our two defined area of risks. We know our targets of 52.300-ish, 52.97, I think is 96 is the exact level. And then, any final runners we have, we're just targeting all-time highs. I'm leaving runners on any longs I take, just leaving it on for all-time highs. So, yeah, that's all I got. Sorry, this was another kind of long video, but I just feel like there's a lot to talk about. I mean, even though we don't have a real clear defined plan, I think that's important to talk about as well. It's important to, realize that we need the market to set up a little bit of a structure for us to have, a more clear idea of, what this market wants to do. So, again, thank you guys all very much for watching. I'm not going to try to force anything tomorrow. It is Friday tomorrow. I've had a great week. Let's go into the weekend, happy and just enjoying, whatever we got going on. Don't liquidate yourself on a Friday. Don't ruin your week on a Friday, especially in a market that is, as difficult to trade as this one is right now. But yeah, that's all we got. I'll have this chart, down below in the description if you want to copy it. And then, yeah, that's all we got. Thank you guys for watching. I'm sorry again, very long video, but I appreciate you guys watching so much. Have a great weekend, and then we'll see you on Sunday. I won't do a review Friday night. I'll review anything I do on Friday, Sunday night, and then we'll make a plan Sunday night for the following week. So, yeah, we'll see you guys Sunday. Have a great weekend. And, yeah, stay classy, San Diego.
This is how to make the best banana bread so you can make money.
Half cup creamy butter,
3 bananas,
2 eggs, your preference of chocolate chips, 2 teaspoons vanilla extract, 2 cups flour, 1 cup sugar. Could sell for brown sugar to change it up.
1 teaspoon baking soda, half teaspoon salt, half teaspoon cinnamon. Bake for 45 minutes at 350 degrees. After you pull it out of the immediately cover it tin foil and leave set at room temperature overnight.
The tin foil locks in the moisture so that when you cut into it the next day you have a super moist and delicious bread.
And that's how you make the world's best banana bread. Eat banana, bread, bread. Eat banana, bread, 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 bread.